Hello and welcome to today's Male and Guardians Community Impact Series. I am Mzwandile Ngubane and we are speaking to the Acting Chief Operations Officer, Mr. Mzwandile Ngubane of the National Lotteries Commission. We'll unpack how the NLC funds projects across South Africa, what compliance measures look like, and of course ensure transparency, and how these grants are transforming lives across our country. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ngubane.
Thank you, Kia, for inviting us.
Thank you. Before we get into the funding process, let's talk a little bit, or give me a brief explanation as to what the NLC does.
Indeed, I shall.
Yes, please.
Yes. So the National Lotteries Commission is a Section 13A public entity.
Okay.
And we're established in terms of the Lotteries Act, number 57 of 1997 as unmanded. And what do we do? You asked that question.
Yeah.
We actually advise the Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition on matters relating to the National Lottery and the sport pools. In addition to that, we regulate the National Lottery and the sports pools. Lastly, we distribute funds from the National Lottery for good causes from the National Lotteries Trust Fund.
Okay, and talking about the trust fund and the funding process, can I get myself in there? No, but totally not.
Yes.
But in terms of the funding process, could you briefly explain how the NLC's funding process actually works?
No, thanks for that question. And I think we need to start from the beginning. And from the beginning, we then say, we go out to the communities across the country.
Across the country, yes.
We then analyze what are the community needs. And from those needs, we then craft what we call a call for applications, which has got priority areas for that particular financial period. And from there on, we accept or receive applications from various organizations from across the country.
Okay.
And through that process, then we do the vetting, we adjudicate, and we do approvals. And from there on, that whole process is very fair and open. Because as part of the call for applications, we would have issued the guidelines, which are standard for all organizations that qualify for that particular call for applications.
So just a little bit in terms of, say, Kiabezwe NGO, right?
Yes.
You've done the analysis at this current moment in time, and I feel that maybe there's something that you've missed out on in terms of the analysis. Could I then apply in the funding to say, you may have missed this one?
Well, the thing is, our funding, the call for funding is quite broad.
Okay.
So your question is very specific to say, what if you don't fit in there?
In the analysis.
In the analysis. We issue a call for application yearly.
Okay.
So those community needs are not
segmented to that certain time.
You understand?
Right.
So we are always going back to the communities because those needs, they change all the time.
Yes.
And then from there on, then we draft a new call for application.
Okay. And then in terms of measures in place that are put in place to ensure the funding process is fair and transparent, what do those measures look like?
Well, part of it is that as we receive a lot of applications, we then do a vetting process, which is very critical in ensuring that those that come into our system, into our environment, have been vetted properly. And that vetting includes the vetting of the directors, vetting of the organizations, vetting of the program that particular organization is implementing in communities. So, and since the process, and we're very clear from the beginning, this is the process of vetting, and these are the guidelines. So it becomes very open, and we are held to account. We are accountable to ourselves and accountable to the communities because we are open from the beginning as to how we're going to go about vetting the process and ensuring that the process is fair for everyone that applies for funding.
So it really just sounds that with the openness, there's still a lot of T's and C's that need to be crossed off the list, and just to make sure that everything is going towards where it's meant to go to.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah.
We have to ensure that each stage of the application process of the grant funding value chain, there are T's and C's, as you have said, to ensure that as we move towards the end, which is the approval and the payment, we have vetted that organization, that program, and that community where the program is going to be implemented and ensuring that monies goes to the right organization, the right hands.
Okay. We're talking to Acting Chief Operations Officer, Mr. Mzwandile Ngubane, about the funding process, compliance, due diligence, and of course, impact stories. But right now, let's talk about oversight and accountability. How does the NLC ensure that the funded projects use the grants responsibly? Because responsibility can sometimes slip through people's doors, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
But we have to start again. As you ask these questions, we have to start from the beginning.
From the start.
And the beginning is the vetting process. But in addition to that, once we have received the application, we then do what you call an inspection. We then go out there and we actually communicate, confirm, verify a lot of the things that the organization would have applied for. And in addition to that, part of that, what we do is do a monitoring and evaluation. That's part of empowering those organizations, where we guide them how the grant is supposed to be used. We guide them how to report. We guide them on governance. We guide them on other matters of financial reporting, ensuring that that R1 that has been allocated to that organization goes to the programs or the community needs as they would have applied for from the beginning, from the initial stages of the application.
Education plus guidance makes
it's very critical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes an easy process of responsibility.
We must not leave anyone behind.
100%.
Yes.
And accountability is a big thing in our country right now.
Indeed.
It's a big thing. But in terms of the NLC, what is being done to address any of these issues in terms of accountability? And number one, prevent, because prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. When it comes to ensuring that those that come in are vetted, and I would have mentioned the inspectorate process.
Yes.
But in addition to that, we have an MOUs with the Department of Social Development.
Could you unpack that just a little bit for us?
A memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
Sorry for that. A memorandum of understanding with the Department of Social Development. They are the custodian of NPO Act.
Okay.
So the organization that come to apply at an NLC, they would have directors in those NPOs. So that memorandum of understanding says those that are coming to us, we are the directors of those NPOs, have been vetted with on the DSD database. But in addition to that, we have also MOUs with CICP, because we also accept NPC, which are non-profit companies, to apply for funding. We vet them to ensure that those that have been registered with NPC are the ones that are coming to the National Lotteries Commission to apply for funding.
Okay.
So that is the one part. But in addition to that, we have whistleblower systems where if a member of a community sees that there's fraud elements, there's theft, there's corruption, they can actually report such, and they don't have to give their names. They can report such, the wrongdoing. And we are working very closely with the law enforcement agencies and oversight bodies to ensure that the cases, we open cases with the law enforcement agencies, and ensuring that the perpetrators or the alleged perpetrators are actually taken to task. So those are the some of the things that we are doing, and being proactive.
Yes, that's important.
To ensure that we don't have to get to a point where the liquidity that we have is actually being misused, mismanaged, and fraudulent activities are happening. So we are putting all those T's and C's, as you would have said earlier on, ensuring that the funds go to the right people, right organization, right communities, and the right programs.
Can you give us one lesson that you've learned in terms of putting these preventative measures in place?
The lessons that we have learned is ensuring that, maybe let me put it like this, there are individuals out there who actually come into this environment, whether it's the NLC or any other environment, and their sole purpose is self-enrichment. Sibabone kuqala thina.
Yebo, ngiyabona.
And we are making sure that they actually don't go through.
Ooh, okay.
So that's why then we have got these proactive measures to ensure that they don't go through before baze babone umdali.
Hey, mabangabona umdali asazi ukuthi manje bazophelela
So
kuphi
bashango
nje.
swazi kuqala.
Now let's talk about your impact and success stories, because obviously you have a plan, you have the funding process, you implement those, you educate and guide, of course, the
Yes.
necessary MPOs, but then now the funding is put in place.
Yes.
And can you share some examples of how the NLC funding rather has made a real difference across the country?
Indeed. One of the biggest sectors that we support is the ECD.
Early child development.
The early child development, and it's very critical in our country.
Yes.
Ensuring that that young child, from very early on in terms of when they enter the education system, one, the practitioners that teach these kids are qualified. The NLC funds for such, which is a teacher training. We need to make sure that those kids, when they're in class, they are fed nutritious meals.
Because a healthy, happy baby
Indeed.
absorbs a lot.
Thank you.
Yes.
So NLC funds such, which is very critical. Number 3, the structures where these kids are learning, they need to meet certain norms and standards. So we come in and ensure that those facilities meet those norms and standards. That's the one part. But in addition to that, we are a country, we are an unequal society.
Yeah, there's quite a large disparity between
Indeed.
those that have and those that don't have.
Yes, so the NLC realizes that. And our interventions, especially when it comes to sports, is we have prioritized rural and township sports infrastructure. We fund schools in those areas, in disadvantaged communities, ensuring that sports is accessible to one and all, ensuring that that child from the rural area, from the township, can also dream and have equal opportunities to the
100%.
child that is in the suburbs.
In the suburbs, yes.
Yes.
So thank you for funding sports, because I actually grew up playing sports. I was lucky enough to go to a well-developed school. So I know the impact that sports plays in my personal life, mentally as well. And of course, as you said, you're giving those the opportunity who don't get to go to like a Santon or a Diamond Walk and see the beauty of what sports really does for individuals. And on top of that, our country's filled with so many talented young sports stars.
Indeed. I mean, the Under-20 World Cup,
Amachita.
we've just qualified for the last 16.
Yes.
I mean, we've got a lot of talent in the country. So, I mean, we have supported the Olympics, the Paralympics. We support swimming, ensuring that it is accessible to all. There are programs when it comes to sports. It's very critical. It plays a very important role because it supports the youth.
It really does.
Mentally, psychologically, it's a healing process to play sports.
Camaraderie as
Yes,
well.
indeed.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Now let's look at our long-term goals as the NLC. How are you looking to improve the funding process?
Well, I think key, we are in a civil society sector, which is the NPO's sector. And one of the important things is to ensure that the sector is sustainable. So
Sustainable. And
yes.
what does sustainability look
yes.
like?
Well, it looks like this. As one of the major grant funders in Africa, by the way.
Not just South Africa.
No.
Okay.
We're very big.
Okay.
Yeah, we are very proud of the work that we do. In Africa, for that matter, we have prioritized capacity building. When we speak of capacity building, we talk about advancements and fundraising.
Okay.
We talk about governance as per the King's codes.
Okay.
We speak about financial management. We refer to sustainability, which is very critical. And we actually encourage the organization or empower the organization to say they must have their own M&E programs, very key, because if an organization is able to demonstrate their impact, then they can be able to actually access fundings from multiple funders,
Sources, yes.
not only the NLC. So capacity building is very key in ensuring that the sector is actually sustainable. But key to that, in terms of our long term, earlier on we spoke about an open and honest, accountable grant funding process. That's what we are also doing. In addition to that, also we are introducing exciting things in terms of technology, where our grant funding processes, you can sit at home and you can apply for funding. We realize that there are technological gaps in our country, but we also realize that an applicant shouldn't be driving and taking taxis from deep rural areas to visit our offices. So we have a dual system whereby you can come to our offices or you can apply online, so that we make it easy. When we speak about our services being accessible, we actually mean that next to you, on your desk, we are accessible to you. And that's the long-term sustainable development model that we are actually bringing to the sector.
So one thing that you just said that I really do appreciate is the accountability that the community members also have to have on themselves, apart from the NLC holding themselves accountable,
yes,
and of course the community members accountable as well. So an education, yes, is what I'm also hearing as well within what you are saying to us this right today. And it's been such a beautiful discussion. We have been educated.
I must say.
Thank you so much.
As I was talking, I was actually being educated myself.
Were you being educated as well?
Yes, and I appreciate that.
I truly appreciate it because I get a we share. We share.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this conversation. It's really a beautiful thing to see the impact NLC's funding efforts continue to make across the country, across the continent. Let me correct myself. Across the continent, yes, right? Across the continent.
Although we fund only
in the countries. Yes. But most importantly, they're tangible.
Yes.
Right.
Indeed.
And you just gave an example of sports,
yes,
as to how tangible that is. So thank you for making that difference across the country. Any closing remarks?
First and foremost, I think thank you for having us. It's been a good conversation. We've really appreciated it as National Lotteries Commission. Our commitment, our ongoing commitment is actually on a fairness in terms of the grant funding processes. It's open and it's community driven, and that's very key. It's community driven in terms of us formulating our call for application, but also has got a community impact onto it. From the beginning to the end, the community is very key. So, but thank you very much. And we want to make sure that each and every funded project contribute to a better South Africa for all. Mm. So thank you.
Because it starts with one seed and it grows.
Then, indeed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mzwandile Ngubane. He is the acting COO of the NLC, and we unpacked the funding process, compliance, due diligence, and of course, impact stories. For Mail and Garden Community Impact Series, I am Mzwandile Ngubane. Please do make sure that you keep yourself and others safe, whatever that means to you.